Hey everyone, it's been a minute. Our whole family has been sick for weeks and it's just taken forever for everybody to get better, and we're still only on the mostly better, but it's been a long time since I did a video, so I thought I'd do a video. And what I wanted to do a video on was, I've kind of realized that there's this weird stigma people have about people who prep or stock up or whatever you want to call it. So there's this thought that people only do this, people only have extra food or preparations if we're expecting Armageddon, we're getting ready for the end of the world, for the zombie apocalypse, for a nuclear holocaust, whatever. This is our last stand. We're gonna live down in our basement and eat our canned applesauce, and that's what we have all this for. And absolutely, there are some people who do that, but the majority of people who believe in being prepared, which is what prepping is short for, are simply doing it because it's the smart way to do things. So I follow a couple different homesteading and prepping type accounts on Instagram, and recently I've just seen some really weird comments. One was, it's just another homestead account, and they have a big garden and they can all their excess every year and they preserve it. And somebody wanted to know, so if the end of the world doesn't happen, do you just throw all of that away? No. This is not a stockpile. We don't collect all of this food and then put it away somewhere and then never touch it. That's not what it's about. This is our grocery store. So we grow a big garden every year. We have a large family and I grow a big garden, and we raise all of our own meat and eggs, and you harvest more than what you can eat at one time. So you preserve it so that you don't waste it. So we just, last week, butchered a steer. That's our beef for the year. So we'll put all that meat in the freezer, and then we don't go to the grocery store and pick up steaks and burgers. We come out to the freezer and pick out steaks and burgers. So that's our meat for an entire year. When we have a good apple year, I put up applesauce for a year. I've got jam, I've got pickles, I've got salsa, all those things. When I have an abundance, I put it up, and then it's good for a year. Home canned food, the guideline is to use within 18 months. So that's what we do. We put it up and we eat through the year. And then by the time the next harvest comes along, we're way low on whatever we've got, and I put up more and we're ready to go again. But it's not just there hiding away. We use it. We eat through it. This is our food. I've been accused of being afraid. I've actually been accused, this one might be my favorite. Somebody sent this comment to me. Those who fear the Lord aren't worried about anything. He who seeks to save his life will lose it. So those who fear the Lord aren't worried about anything. So I fear the Lord. I'm a Christian. I'm a believer. I am not afraid, but we got 4 inches of snow outside over the last 2 days, and we have a winter storm watch coming, and we're supposed to get another 12 inches of snow tonight, which very well might make it so that we can't get out anywhere and go to the grocery store. So it would actually be irresponsible of me not to have enough food to last my family through winter storms. We live 35 miles from the closest grocery store. Not our favorite grocery store, not the best, not the cheapest, but any grocery store, 35 miles away. And we have very harsh winters. We get a lot of snow. The road is oftentimes nothing but ice for months at a time. And we also have power outages out here. So having shelf-stable food that I can put in a pot and cook on my wood stove is just being a good steward. It's taking care of my family. It would be irresponsible of me if I didn't have anything on hand. You know, let's talk about 2020. I think even people who normally didn't stock up learned the value of stocking up because stores were empty and they had limits on things. Do you remember when they were only letting people get 1 gallon of milk or 1 pound of hamburger, no matter how big your family was? So, and how about the toilet paper shortages? So it kind of amazes me that after we went through all of that, and we still to this day continue to have supply chain issues, that people are trying to make people feel bad for just trying to have, being stocked up, trying to be prepared. It's not about fear. It's about taking care of your family. We also have a farm full of animals. We try to have enough of their feed so that if we can't get somewhere for a while, they're not going to go hungry either. One of the accounts that I follow is This Prepared Life. And Allison, who runs that, has a saying of being prepared, not scared. And that's what it is. This isn't done out of fear. I'm not expecting zombies. I'm not expecting the world to end and I'm going to live here and eat my food. I simply know that oftentimes I can't get to town. Sometimes there isn't anything to get in town if I can get there. And if I can raise it and preserve it and save it myself, why wouldn't I? That's just common sense. Somebody else told me some people don't spend their lives waiting for something to happen. Well, I'm not waiting for something to happen either. I'm simply taking care of my family. And 150 years ago, this was normal. This is what everyone did. You spent all spring and summer raising your garden and your animals, and then in the fall you harvested or you butchered and you preserved it in whatever way you could so that you had food over the winter. Now, we live in a world where everybody trucks in veggies from Mexico and South America, and everybody thinks that you can get whatever kind of vegetable or fruit you want anytime you want it. And that is kind of true, but it's also kind of a cocky way to live your life because, such as we dealt with in 2020, when there's disruptions in that supply chain, your store shelves are empty. And oftentimes, I don't remember, it was a few years ago, there was a huge storm in New York City. People were running out of food because they were used to going to town or down the street, if you live in the city, I guess, all the time, every day. People go shopping every day or once a week. And so people didn't have food beyond that. Now, I think that they were probably uncomfortable and scared when that happened. And I would like to avoid that. And, you know, it's a 35-mile one way, that's 70 miles round trip to go to a grocery store for us. So how often do you think I'm going to run into town because I forgot one ingredient for something? Or because I needed to get one extra thing? I don't want to drive that far. It's a waste of gas. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of resources. So I try to have what we call staples, which are all the normal things you use all the time. And we try to have those all the time. I keep flour, sugar, brown sugar, spices. We always have eggs and milk. You know, certain kinds of vegetables. It's good to have carrots either fresh or canned or frozen, you know, butter, coconut oil, all the things you need to bake or cook with. It only makes sense to keep them on hand. That does not make me a fearmonger, and it doesn't mean I don't trust in the Lord. It means that I am using my resources wisely for my family. I think that's basically all the things I wanted to hit on, but I think that people who think that being prepared is strange are the ones who need to rethink things. I think that, you don't have to have a year's worth of food. And if you live in town and you can literally walk down the street to a grocery store, good for you. Maybe you only have 2 weeks worth of food on hand. And guess what? That's what the experts, the government, that's what they recommend, is that everyone should have at least 2 weeks worth of food on hand at all times because of natural disasters, winter storms, hurricanes, tornadoes, who knows, whatever, for whatever reason, if you can't get to town, you should be able to take care of your family for at least that long. And water, you should have water for everyone, including your animals, because they can't survive without it. So in the East, when they get these really big winter storms, it's pretty normal for people to get out their candles and their lanterns to fill the bathtub with water to make sure that they have stuff. And I know for a fact in the South, if they're expecting a storm, there's no bread or milk on the shelves in any grocery store. So what if you didn't have to panic buy every time that happened? What if you already had all the stuff and you could just be prepared, maybe bring it into the house from wherever you keep your extra stuff, but you didn't have to make a panicky trip to town to make sure we had toilet paper and milk and eggs and whatever else. So if you're somebody who thinks that being prepared is strange, I think you need to rethink that. And if you're somebody who feels the need to jump on the internet and be a troll and tell people that they're, not trusting in the Lord, or they're just scaring people or being fearmongers because they want to be prepared and they want to provide for their family, I really think you need to rethink that. So I hope you enjoyed this. Maybe you learned something from it. If you did enjoy it, please like and subscribe. And if you don't have any sort of food stocked up, I'm going to suggest that you start working on at least having 2 weeks worth of food in your house at all times so that your family can be prepared and not scared. Have a blessed day.